And we're back on another episode of Watchu Been Playin. I am Carlos Macias, the master of what, Dalan?
The master of showing your work. Good sir.
Yeah, off wax. I was trying to do some math, and I said like 4 times 4, and Dan was like,
"Is 160?" I was like, "Wait,
but
what?"
I told you I have to add the 0 afterwards, man. I leave it behind to bring it forward. I'm just trying to make the math easy, all right? But don't try to do math on air. Dalan Kirkwood from Up in the Mountains, thank you for joining me, sir.
You're welcome.
On another
mystical mind of Carlos Macias.
The mystical. Hey, by the way, we made a mistake. I don't know if they could have made it, but we did send out invites to Luis and Deo, and Luis rightfully was like, "This is like late notice, man. You understand? You're trying to get us to record in 20 minutes." So
yeah,
so
he's like
bad.
an hour before recording. Hey,
so
get ready and be home.
So our bad, but maybe next time they should join us. So this is Watchu Been Playin episode 12. Like, it's supposed to be an irregular thing, so make sure to subscribe. And if you subscribe, right, they can click the bell right down. They can get notifications, because it's a kind of irregular thing. We're trying to like build up a little like I don't know, information library to bring to you guys, but we try to keep it relevant. So we'll start off with you first, Dalan. You did, from what I understand, you did try out the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is of course what was downloadable right after the State of Play, the recent PlayStation State of Play. I'm going Media Blackout. I know I wrote about it. I was like, let me write up a little bit of something that I have to go back to the OG Final Fantasy VII. That article is up there on WeGotComs.com. But I'm going Media Blackout, man. I'm just gonna do it. I'm sorry. I apologize. I know it's a disservice to our audience, Dalan, but I'm gonna go all into that. The game when it actually launches in a couple weeks now. I know they did a cool thing with the demo, though. You can actually skip some of the parts that you played, so that's got me.
What are you talking about?
There's an area in the demo. I don't know if it's the entire demo, but there's an area in the demo. If you played the demo and you have the save data, not only do you get like some items for when the full game drops, but you also get to skip that area when you get to it in the game. So there's reasons for playing the demo, but I'm still gonna go full on Media Blackout, man. But what did you think, Dalan? Let us know. Okay, I know you didn't play the whole thing, right? But
so I didn't get a chance to finish it because we ended up having visitors. But I will say this: if you didn't play the first game, play the first game. The first, because when I loaded
now by the first game you mean Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Final Fantasy Remake Part 1/Integrate. All right, okay. Play it. Simply because when you boot up the demo, and I'm sure it's going to do the same thing when you boot up the actual game, like a lot of sequels nowadays, you could do a what happened previously, trying to catch up on the story or whatever. Because I know they did that for Spider-Man, they did it for God of War. They're doing it for this. They have a little thing where they show you a little movie that's like 3 to 5 minutes long to giving you a recap of what happened in the previous game. Does not do the previous game justice. That's what I'm saying right there. It does give you a brief breakdown of what happened in the game, but it's definitely not as detailed to where you can actually understand what the hell they're talking about while they're saying it. Now, as for your statement of being able to skip a section, for anybody that played the original Final Fantasy VII game, they know that there is a whole section where you go into the past and you play as Cloud, and you're walking alongside Sephiroth to actually go to Nibelheim and go to the reactor and stuff like this. And that is actually the whole section of this demo. That's what you're specifically talking about, Carlos. You could skip this part, but I was like, no, I don't want to skip this part. When the game comes out, I'm just going to do it again.
You're going to do it again.
Okay. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah. But it's a good little, incentive. Like for people like I'm kind of like, maybe I don't want a Media Blackout. Maybe I want to try the demo because I can kind of skip that area. But it's fair what you're saying. You're like, I'm going to do it again. To be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be like right at the beginning of the game too, the way that they actually had it roll out. But either way it goes, I will redo it again because I'm going to say this. There's a part where you get to play a piano. And they revamped the way that you play that piano. It was a little mini game for me, and it was super fun, and I almost didn't walk away from the piano. I was just enjoying the piano.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing people online that like stay on there. They're stuck in the
stuck
piano
on the piano.
Area.
The piano is too good. They really outdid.
So what are you thinking, graphics wise, gameplay wise, Dalan? Well, you're kind of dancing around it, man.
No. I was about to get to that. Gameplay wise, it's honestly smooth. You could now vault over things, which was a weird thing to actually add that 3D element to it. So now they're going to be able to hide things in more places. Like at some point, I was running through a dungeon and there was an item chest just on the other side of a railing. In normal RPG standards, you'd have to find the way around to find the opening to be able to get. No, I just jumped over the railing and went straight for that damn chest. I wasn't even gonna deal with all that.
There was definitely a lot of. There was definitely in remake 7 remake. There was definitely a lot of like. There's this thing, but I gotta go down the stairs and up the stairs and like just to get to the other side of it. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. They were like, nah. If you could vault over, if you could jump on the box to get to the other side, they now have that. And I was on top of the roof in Nibelheim. All right, I wasn't just on top of a roof. I was enjoying myself up there. Then you get to play with Sephiroth. You did not get to do that in the original game. It was it's an excellent feeling to play with Sephiroth. So whether you do it in the demo or in the actual game, it's super fun. Hopefully they leave that particular aspect.
Now, are you buying? I don't know if you can tell from the demo, but are you buying? Like I was reading this Kotaku article, or at least I read the headline. I didn't go into the article, okay. But that they're saying like they're convinced that it's a sequel to the original 1997 release, which that means they're mixing a whole bunch of shit up, which they've been doing, man. Which I'm like, as I said in We Got Com's article that I put up, I was like, oh, I'm hoping they take a sledgehammer to all the lore and break your little tiny heart, little tiny 1997 Dalan heart, and destroy
Carlos,
the lore.
Be happy. That is essentially what they are doing.
Okay.
It's pretty much what they did with the first one. Like there are those small differences that makes the story play out completely different. And I'm sure at some point they're going to get to a branching point where it's like, all right, we either break the original timeline or we try and stick to the original timeline. I'm pretty sure they're going to break it because people love Aerith way too much.
Which one? Okay, spoiler. Anybody that didn't hear that, don't rewind. Which one are you? Which one will break your heart more, Dalan? That they kind of, it's a sequel. They switch up the timeline. What will break your heart the most, man?
No, at this point, the way that they actually built it, because they're still going to stick with the core story in itself. Sephiroth has problems. Crap went down. Okay. The entire planet's in danger. At some point, Cloud's got to deal with it. All right, that's the main thing about it.
Let's go.
But regardless of how we get there, as long as you get to go to all of the places and see the tidbits that happened in the original game, I actually don't care if the story rolls out differently.
Is it a big deal that there's no playable Sid or playable Vincent in this second part of the game? Is that kind of a big deal? Well, we don't know what the third part's gonna entail, right? Ultimately, but
yeah, my thing is that for this particular game, it was already announced that it's going all the way up to the Forgotten City, which is the end of disc 1. And
is that what you, I was like, Dalan, how far do I get in the original? Get to the end of disc 1. I was like, what disc? It's on a hard drive. Come on, on an SSD drive. SSD.
I personally cannot remember exactly when you get to play with Sid, whether it be close to the end of disc 1 or during disc 2. But Vincent, you couldn't even get until disc 2 originally. Okay. So it makes sense that Vincent is not in it.
Okay.
They might be able to touch base on the fact that Vincent exists, but having him be a playable character on disc 1 was never a thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sid, however, not 100% sure because I can't remember that exact part. I'd have to replay the original game, and I don't feel like doing all that.
Okay. So I'll have to. So
I'll just have to look that up online.
At the end of disc 1, huh? All right, I'll get to that. I'm gonna play that. I'm playing like a dragon right now, but I think I'm gonna go into Final Fantasy 7 just to be ready, and then I'll quit again.
Carlos, this is one of those where I say, pull up the strategy guide. You'll be fine.
I'm gonna do it. I don't know if I was doing it the first time. Well, the version that you can play on PlayStation 4, I think, has like God mode to it too, which is like they let you mess with stuff, auto battles, all kinds of stuff. It lets you do. So I'm gonna mess with it. I'm just trying to get through the story.
Just get the strategy guide so you can get through the story.
Right? Okay, so you're hyped, Dalan. The hype is real. Final Fantasy 7.
Yes, the hype is real. The game is the other thing I didn't get a chance to touch base on is the graphics are beautiful and the scenery is wide range. It's not like narrow spaces like they did in the first one. The areas are much bigger to be able to run around, and it just made it even more beautiful because they put more detail into it. And you'll be happy to know, Carlos, they did not mess up the water physics. The water physics are beautiful, and the water is shiny, especially with Mako.
Okay. Oh, Mako Reactor 01. That's the name of your dog, by the way. I don't know if people know online, but your dog is Mako Reactor 01. That's his full name. Mako Reactor 01.
No.
Yeah, that's his full name. That's fine. So, yeah, I'm hyped, man. I'm super hyped. Day one, right? Midnight launch, everything, right, Dalan?
Midnight launch. When was the last time you saw midnight launch? That's a completely different conversation, Carlos.
We'll see. But I'm ready, man. Day
that
one.
9 p.m. midnight launch.
We usually like GameFly stuff or whatever, but it's going down. I gotta get it.
I think I'm gonna be at the store picking up a physical copy. Of
the other thing though that we GameFlyed and we waited a little while. We didn't get day one. It was Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. We've been playing it a little bit over the last week or so. I GameFlyed. I believe you GameFlyed it too, and I'm glad I did, man. I'm glad I did. We were before this. We were playing Gotham Knights. I know I was kind of like, okay, I kind of like that. I don't know, man. Gotham Knights might be a little bit better. I don't know. It does suffer from the same problem that I had with Gotham Knights. It makes me a little sleepy, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the mission structure, the design. That's like my brain is like starts shutting down, man. And it's gotta be this, and not that I'm sleepy. Like now, I am getting older, so I guess I'm getting a little sleepier as the night wanes on. But no, we went from playing Suicide Squad, and for whatever reason, the boys got on, and we were playing Modern Warfare Warzone or whatever. I was awake. I was immediately awake. All right, getting the
that
chicken
game
dinner.
Woke me up.
Getting the chicken dinner, I was immediately
and you got
awake.
Your chicken dinner. I heard you guys yelling that.
And we were just playing Suicide Squad before we got on it, and I was like, it's fine, sleep. I don't know, man. I feel like part of it is like just at the core of it is. There's really only one guy I want to play with. Maybe, Deadshot, I play with him. His movement's okay. King Shark was cool, but you got him, so that's fine. But King Shark was the other one that was kind of cool. Harley Quinn and the Boomerang guy, I was like, I don't even like to walk around with these mans. I know Harley Quinn is not a man, but you know what I'm saying? Humankind. So I think it starts off with just even like the movement, man. It's like, the story's kind of okay, right? I know you really enjoy the lore, right? Some of like, there's like at the beginning, we kind of go through like sort of a museum type of thing, which is kind of cool.
There's some lore that is excellent.
Yeah, it's not too bad, but other than that, like, I hate to say it, but the internet, look, the internet's a bunch of haters. Right, they were already hating on this because it's a live service game, right? And I understand that. I don't really necessarily like them that much because just give me a nice single player campaign where I don't have to go online.
Carlos,
so I get that.
Just say it. They were right this time.
I was getting around to it, man. Let me get my caveat out, man. But they were right, man. They were right. I think I still want to see it through because I'm invested and like my brain is broken that way. So I think me and you can continue, right, to play it before we send it back. But other than that, it's just not great, man. I mean, it's really not. I mean, it's a live service game. They could always update it, right? But it's not. What are your thoughts here, Dalan? What are you really thinking, Dalan, about Suicide
Squad? The fact that it's a live service game was a bit of a turnoff for me because even going from the Gotham Knights to this one, I knew it was going to be a bad change for me, especially knowing that it's a direct sequel to the Arkham trilogy with Batman that were so excellent, which, aside from the whole Batmobile fiasco, because you played with the Batmobile more often than you needed to. But in this one, they're forcing you to use their vehicles that they have for specific missions. They have you going back and forth across the map to do the other extra missions that they got set up for you. At some point, you can't move on the story without actually doing those little side missions.
Which is the live service part, right? Like do a bunch of random shit to qualify for the requirements of the main thing, right?
No, even aside from that, I know when we were trying to critical path it, there was a point where you stopped and I went back to do some of the side stuff because I know you don't like doing the side quests, Carlos. But I went out there and I'll just try and go from one part of the map to the other. And I'm sure at some point there will be fast travel, or at least I hope so. But I was going and the Riddler would not shut up. This man was talking the whole time, telling me all kinds of riddles. Every time I stepped to an area, I was in the middle of fighting some enemies, suddenly a riddle pops up. I'm in the same spot, the riddle changed, and he said something new. That man was talking too much. I was getting tired of hearing the riddle, honestly. Then I also had a problem with the tutorial menu, like the little extra icons that pop up that tell you to double jump or tell you to slide 3 times. It kept popping up for me. I had to turn off the tutorials altogether.
It's little things. It's these little things that you kind of dismiss where a game is just a great game, and it's like, all right, some of the UI is maybe not what it needs to be or whatever, right? But there's these little things that add up when the game is like. Well, are you impressed by it, Dalan? What are you impressed on? What are you really disappointed on, I guess?
The few things I'm impressed on is the way that they actually wrote the characters. They did a great job in actually writing the characters themselves. King Shark, hands down, my favorite character, personality-wise.
It's not bad, yeah.
Yeah, but as soon as I heard Harley Quinn's voice the first time, it had to grow on me, because at first I was like, that sounds terrible. It sounds so terrible. And then I was able to let that go because it started to grow on me. Like the very beginning of the game, terrible. After that, it was okay. I think you started having some problems with Penguin. And then
Penguin's terrible. Penguin's terrible. I was going to say Harley Quinn. I was like, she sounds Harley Quinn-ish, you know? It's kind of got that like squeaky high voice, very jokey. It had to
grow on me.
It's okay. I don't know if it's grown on me. It's just, it's Harley Quinn. The Batman was terrible. I agree with you on that. And the Penguin for sure is like, what the hell is this, man? What are we listening to? So, unfortunately, it's one of those things that I was like, I wasn't super hyped on it, but I was like, look, Gotham Knights, I can see the potential. But unfortunately, it's like, I think I saw a tweet, and I might have like screenshot it. I should have kind of, I forgot who the guy said it online, but someone tweeted about it, and they were like, you know what? The problem is some of these guys are made to make live service games. Some of these developers, right? The problem is Rocksteady is not one of them. Like they're just not.
Dynamics are over there.
They're not a live service type of team, right? They got to make a nice little campaign, not be focused on like all this other crazy stuff or whatever. Like they're not a studio to do that.
I did not need loot boxes in this game. That was not something I needed.
Yeah, so
just let me go earn new weapons for these characters, but nah. You do a mission, you get random drops of you get legendary items right off the bat. I got a legendary shotgun immediately. I was like, what?
Yeah. I mean, look, for me, like the positives, if I can give it a positive, I do like that they have like the gears reloading. They just rip that off. Right, the active reloading is kind of cool. The graphics are kind of okay, I guess, and it has co-op. It has co-op, I guess. It has
four-player co-op.
It has four-player co-op.
That.
We're waiting for Luis. I know he said it was the most anticipated game of 2024, but this man has not been playing it, so that's a lot of anticipation.
Pick it up. It's not even on his radar.
That's a lot of anticipation. Well, me and you will be playing it, right? So if he picks it up soon, we'll get down with that. The next game we have on here, Dalan, is Tekken 8. I platinumed it first before you did, so that means I'm a bigger fan of Tekken 8,
that's fine.
And quickly after, maybe about a day or two after I platinumed, I was like, okay, let's play Dalan. You and Ricky proceeded to beat my ass in that game. And by the way, there in Tekken, there's I was thinking like, oh, it's kind of cheat mode. Like you can kind of bring up like an easy like at any given point you can turn off like easy mode and you can turn it on easy operation, right? And I was like,
Street Fighter 6 with their easy mode, they had the same thing.
6 had it on as well. I don't know, but
6 had a simplified mode.
But in Tekken 8 I definitely kept those on, and you guys still beat me. So I was like, this is kind of cool. I kind of like the fact that they have a potential for an easy mode, but it's not that easy. It really isn't. Like, if you're good at it, the other guy can still beat you. And I think you kind of, I don't know if it was you or Ricky who mentioned it, but you guys were saying like, oh, what it is, it kind of does limit your buttons, your controls.
Your moveset.
And I think it does. It really, like, to me, I was like, I mean, I can do easy combos, and it's all about the air combos, apparently. I was like, this is the air combo. Get out of here.
Juggles.
So it's not Dal a combo, so I'll correct myself on that. But it's air juggle the game. Doesn't make it better than Dal a combo, by the way. Doesn't mean it's better because it's an air juggle game. I never really played Tekken before, man. This is the first one. So the fact that they made it an easy platinum, easy-ish, you gotta do specific things. You go in the replays.
stupid things.
You beat the campaign, you beat the mythic quest or whatever, the little quest, the arcade quest. You learn a little bit about the game. So these are the platinums I appreciate. Where it's like otherwise I wouldn't have really gotten into it. I would have done the multiplayer a little bit, maybe played against you, and I would have just sent it back. Which I
never would have fought against Ghosts if they didn't force you to do it.
See, there you go. And I will reveal this though, Dalan. I apologize. As much as I enjoyed it, as much as it's like I like it, and I'm understand what it is. Not better than Virtua Fighter. Not that. Virtua Fighter is top tier still.
You're not gonna get a 6, Carlos.
But I still, I know, man. That's my Prince of Persia. You know, at least you got a Prince of Persia, though, man. I didn't even get a Prince of Persia Lite, a Metroid.
Even if the Prince of Persia made me mad and got broken.
I'm not getting Virtua Fighter 6. I'm not getting Metroid Prime 4. I'm not getting nothing, man. So at least you got a nice game, a nice Metroidvania. Not what you wanted, but something in that vein. But anyway, so I'm gonna send it back, Dalan. It's too much. $60 is too much for me right now.
For Tekken?
Yeah.
That's one of those games you can play at any time.
I understand, but I can play it any time, any month, and I'll
also
grab
need
it
some
on
practice. Have at least one Tekken game in your repertoire. This should be it.
That's
one red Tekken game in your repertoire.
Once it goes down in price, man, I'll grab it. But I think I have something else on my like game flight queue or whatever. But it's cool, man. The graphics are nice. It plays well enough for fucking let me air juggle you for 3/4 of your health. How is that fun? How is that fun? I can't counter, man. Like what? I'm in the air for 10 seconds now. How is that fun?
I'm gonna tell you this. There was a point that there's a character in the game called Nina Williams. I don't know if you remember her.
Yeah.
But she's a bit of an assassin, and the homie Ricky, he hopped on with me. We were fighting, and at some point I grabbed him. And I was able to do my combo grab with Nina because he couldn't break it. He couldn't figure out how to break it. And I took away 3/4 of his health. And he put the controller down and he said, "Just finish it, man."
just take me out, man. But see, you look. I think I think you're just better at like fighting games than I am. I think because at Virtua Fighter, at some point you were like, "Ooh, it's getting intense in here." But
you get me practicing.
But Virtua Fighter, like you could counter everything, man. How the fuck do you counter when you're up in the air for fucking 10 minutes, man? Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do at that point, man? Like, that's to me, that's what makes it good. That's what makes Virtua Fighter so good is the fact that you can, like, counter everything. Where Tekken is, like, as long as you got a foothold in, as long as you trip someone up and then activate your power combo or whatever it is, they're gone. They are gone. But I digress, Dalan. That's my story on Tekken 8. Did it live up? Because I don't think we didn't talk about it last time. We didn't have it in our hands last time we did What You've Been Playing, right? How's it been for you, man? You've been waiting on this, right? Tekken 7 and had been a while.
All right. So part of my thing for Tekken 8 is I was actually really excited for the high level graphics that they actually portrayed during the trailers that they had showed, because they were like in-game footage. Yes, it was in-game footage, but it was very much during the story mode, during a very specific part. And that was the only time that the graphics looked that beautiful. Outside of that, it was dumbed down a little bit.
Well, I mean, it looks pretty good, though. It looks pretty good.
It still looks excellent the whole way. You got levels where you're kicking llamas by accident. I had llamas disappear.
Azucena's good, man. She's a new character, right? That's my character, dude. Like, she's got some good... Azucena? The character
the coffee lady.
A little racial, but that's fine. That's cool.
This time they actually said Heihachi is officially dead, and they had no intentions of actually bringing him back, or at least not from what I know, unless they have some weird DLC.
Yeah.
So
the story was pretty cool, right? You like it? It wasn't too long. Didn't overstay its welcome. Like, about what, 2 hours?
I will tell you what overstayed its welcome. Yeah. That final fight with Kazuya versus Jin.
It had to be intense. It had to be intense, man. And by the way,
you had to go through it 6-7 times.
By the way,
same spot.
By the way, that's where the story splits, and there's like a alternate ending trophy or whatever. I don't know if do I spoil. Look, skip forward 3 seconds if you don't want to hear this part. But the count to 3 seconds right now. Someone got thrown off a cliff. All right, that's the 3 seconds. I was like, okay, when does this happen? I thought this was part of the story, and it finally happened. That you got to it, Dalan? Did you do the split?
Yeah, I did do that.
Someone, in tradition, as this tradition Tekken game. You see some tradition
to have this happen again.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna get like 8 more Tekken.
There you go. It's not an incredible. It's not. Look, it's not a good story, but it's wacky. It's what you want. It's a fight. They're just figuring out excuses for you to fight in all these different arenas.
It's a very anime story.
Yeah.
If anybody ever played Fatal Fury or like actually watched the Street Fighter series, it's very much one of those. Once again, you got one guy that everybody's putting their hopes on. He does not seem like the most powerful person in the game, but for whatever he is,
he's always doubting himself. It's like, no, it's you, but I can't. My devil form is taking over. I gotta do it.
That's what I'm talking about. It's very generic. It's very generic.
It's pretty dumb, but it's good. It's like it's action, heavy. It's very popcorny, and I don't mind the last part. Like I kind of sort of expected it, what you're talking about, that it just goes on and on. And I was like, yeah, I mean, this is what it is. And it has those moments where two people punch each other at the same time, and it's like, ugh. Like one goes down, right? So I liked it, man. I dug it. And like I said, I'm the bigger fan than Tekken, obviously, based on that I got the platinum first. But that's
because I love the fact that you can name 5 characters.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I would be lucky if I even know Azucena, Nina. You just mentioned Nina. Man, it gets hard from there. It gets hard from there.
We're done.
There's a Lily. We're done. We're done. It gets hard. Anything else, Dalan, on Tekken, man? You kept it. You GameFly 2 keep. No. Did you? No, you did day 1. No.
I GameFly'd it. And I bought it. I didn't even do that. I bought it online. I was like, I'm not even gonna wait for it. Not gonna wait for the mail. I just bought it.
You're gonna do that. So that means you got it digitally, right? Which is kind of good.
Yeah, I got it digitally.
Because that means it's on your hard drive, right? It's on the SSD.
Yeah, it's on my hard drive. So if I go to a new system, I don't gotta wonder whether or not it's gonna support the new disc or whatever.
You're gonna do digital for Final Fantasy?
No, for Final Fantasy, I will buy a physical copy.
Yeah, there you go, man. There you go. I think Best Buy's doing the Steelbook too. So I think Best Buy loves it. So Deo's in. He loves his steelbooks. So
Deo's in. That's it.
He's in.
Hey, after playing the demo, I'm also in. But we're taking a step back on to Final Fantasy. Mm-hmm. So Carlos, talk about the other Japanese anime type game. That is wacky.
It's wacky, but it's so effing excellent, man. Yakuza Like a Dragon. Were we talking about it last podcast? I don't think so.
No, we didn't.
I'm 26 hours in. I don't know where I find the time, but I've been finding it. It's incredible. I in the chat that we have with Dale, I was like, I'm so happy for you that you're finally playing this. I was like, I'm happy for me. It's such an incredible game. The graphics are nice, and the story. I thought it was. So for people that don't know, it is sort of loosely based on Yakuza, the series, and it's one of those things that at some point things happen where it's sort of related, but you don't really need to. It's mostly standalone. It's the characters Ichiban. I think that's his name right now. You're playing it too.
Yes, Ichiban.
And it's a crazy.
Kazuka? Ichiban.
Ichiban. But it's a crazy ass game. I love it. It's an RPG. It's another RPG, and I think you didn't even think that you didn't know it was an RPG, right?
See, I did not know it was a turn-based RPG until you told me.
Yeah,
that was the thing that threw me off. I was like, "What do you mean it's a Yakuza that's turn-based?" Because all the other ones are action RPGs. Like you're straight up like doing combos and you have to actually earn new moves in that particular fashion. No, this one, experience, money, you're leveling up a job, you're doing all the wacky things to be able to level up those jobs. You are kicking people while they're down. They have all kinds of mechanics for this game, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't know how far you are into it, but of course you get the specials, you get the healing abilities, you get the electric, fire, all this other stuff, and it's extra super wacky, man.
Hey, people are hitting people. You're just randomly picking up chairs and hitting them.
If they're in your way,
bicycles come.
They're in your way. You'll pick some shit up.
You're hitting some. You throw. At some point, I opened a suitcase in like a sewer. Found a hardball in it, like a baseball hardball, and that thing hit hard. I did not know it was gonna hit that hard. I was like, items, throw, okay. Bam! That fool was down. All right.
And it makes use of the Paper Mario mechanics, if you're aware, right? Like you press circle before someone attacks. and you can you can't get zero. I just played Paper Mario. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit in a bit. But you can't get zero damage. You don't get zero damage, right? Like in Paper Mario, you can get zero damage from blocking, timing it correctly. This one, at least,
you are not playing Paper Mario.
Super Mario RPG. There you go. But no, man, Yakuza. Look, I'm about 26 hours in. I think I got just a few more hours to go. The writing is just so good, man. It's because it's a wacky game, but it knows it's wacky. Like it's self-referential. It knows like it doesn't take itself too serious, and it has that. I think you've heard. I don't know if I've said it on wax. Maybe I have, but it has that element of like the perfect amount of cheese. The only thing I can think of perfect amount of cheese wise is like the Cobra Kai series. It's like, it's cheesy as hell, but it does hit you with the feels every so often. Like it's good to balance the cheesiness with the seriousness, self-referential. Like it's just so good, man. It's excellent.
Hey, it got super wacky at some point. At some point, I was collecting cans in the street.
And it's like it's fine, and it's fine.
They did it so well, it makes you want to go back and do it again. Yeah. And you're fighting in the middle of can collections.
I look, it's a little bit of a. How about this? Let me try to do it in a non-spoilery way. Dan. The game is so dumb but beautiful and smart, and like it's all a beautiful mixture of things. The gameplay is good, the RPG element. I know you got the auto battle, but that's you don't really want to use it, man. It's fun enough to you don't really want to use it, but it's there. You do fight inanimate objects, just so you're aware. Like there will be battles where you're like, I'm not battling a human right now. I'm battling something else, and this is a boss right now.
I'm battling a standing bag. You gotta break it or something. Good, for the game itself, or at least for me, because I didn't get deep into the other Yakuza games, right? So I didn't get to that large level of wackiness. This is the first time I've actually played Yakuza this deep. It's a great introductory to what the Yakuza series is. Yeah. It honestly is. And at some point, I was like, all right, let me just try it, because you told me it was turn-based, and I knew I was going to be able to get further into it. And my wife, Nicole, she was watching me. She was like, Dalan, I need you to play more Yakuza. Yeah. I'm invested in this story.
Good, man. It's good. It's excellent. Look, and it's one of those that... Look, I'm playing it to get to Infinite Wealth, right? The new one that just came out a couple weeks ago. So it's one of those things where it's like, I kind of want to tinker with the side missions a little bit, because I can only imagine how wacky they get. I've seen some of the stuff online, by the way. I'm like, it can get stupidly wacky. So, but I think I'm on a critical path and just jump into Infinite Wealth, next.
Now, really quick, I will say this for anybody listening. Like a Dragon is still on Game Pass as of the recording of this tape, and you can download it for free if you have the Game Pass. And also, it was free at some point on the PlayStation Plus Supreme. And I messed up, and I did not pick it up. I did not know it was going to be this good. That's my own fault. But if you picked it up there too, you still got it.
Yeah, that's why to me, I'm like, man, always click on the free stuff. So a lot of the stuff, pretty much every month, I'm like, I'm never gonna play this, but click, add it to your library, man. Add it to your library, because that's kind of the way I'm playing it. That's Yakuza Like a Dragon. I'm almost there, so next time we record, I'm sure we'll talk about we'll talk about kind of beating that, and hopefully I might be into Infinite Wealth at that point, or maybe Final Fantasy 7. Man, it's a lot of games, man, already.
No,
Dalan, 2024 and
already.
7,
I don't think comes out until March 27th.
No, but I'll be dipping into 7 OG edition. God mode edition.
Okay.
And getting to the point. I got to pinpoint where to stop, I guess. Or I'll just go for a little while, huh? I'll just go for a little while. We'll see what happens.
You'll know when to stop.
Okay, there you go. So as far as what I've been playing, besides what me and you have been playing kind of together or simultaneously, Super Mario RPG, not Brothers. Super Mario RPG. I game tape solved that thing. That game is nice and wacky. I talked about it, I feel, quite a bit. It's like a 12-hour game, Dalan. It's like a 12-hour game. I guess there's a game plus, a Mario, new game plus to it or whatever. But I'm like, I'm good, man. I've seen enough of this. It's sort of like 4 babies, but the end boss, like at some point, so you get these bosses, right, leading up to the game, and I think in a lot of RPGs, right, it's like, okay, they got more than regular enemies, right? They got 2,000, 3,000 XP or whatever, or HP. You get to the final boss in Super Mario RPG, man. This guy has like 12,000 HP. I'm like, what the? Why is this happening? When can I ever beat this game? So he has a crazy amount. You barely do enough damage. You get into that equilibrium, I guess, where you're healing, you're attacking, you're healing, you're attacking. Just like, when will this end, man? It's not as fun as Yakuza, man. Like a dragon. It's not as fun. It's just not. It's
old school. It's a remake.
It's old school, but yeah, it's old school, but damn. And you see people online are talking about Final Fantasy VIII battle system that even the creators like, yeah, all right, I would update it because that was.
Just like I would update that draw system that everybody hated.
You didn't like it either, Dalan. I'm assuming.
I do not know how they would actually recreate that battle system of the way that it was, because that was a large part of the Final Fantasy VIII system, and the way that you would make your character more powerful, you would actually equip the magic that you drew in order to boost your stats. And if you can't draw magic, what mechanic are they going to need? They're going to have to create an entirely new mechanic for Final Fantasy VIII if they're going to get rid of the draw system.
Would I have fun with that system, Dan? If I ever went to 8, would I have fun with what's going on there?
The problem with the draw system is you got to have patience to draw the magic. That's the only problem with the draw system, is you have to sit there, be like, draw. All right, I got 3 of this one. All right, draw again. I got 7. You get a maximum of like 9.
Yeah, see, so we'll see. We'll see about that. But yeah, I like that the creator's like, we'd have to kind of tinker with it. I like that the guy that made it himself is like, that was a little rough. The other game, what's up?
I said he knew.
He knew. He understood. Look, the next thing. This is why I'm sending Tekken 8 back. By the way, dude, I'm sending it back for Mario versus Donkey Kong. That's the game that, if you guys don't know, it was like it goes back. It goes back to the Game Boy days. This was like pre Nintendo 64, pre Mario 64. Or I think it might have came out the same year, a year prior. But this is where Mario learns how to do the triple jump. Or whatever. He does a little triple jump. He gets very aerobatic. What's the word, Dalan? What's the correct one here? He gets very acrobatic. Me and my child played the demo, so the demo is up. I think it's like 4 levels. But we had enough fun with it that I'm like, okay, I need to figure out. It's coming out this week coming up. So in a couple of days, go try out the demo, see if you like it. It's very much a puzzle game though. It's not Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which was it my number 2 game or my number 3 game? I think it was my number 2, man. It was good.
I'm glad you enjoyed it so much. You had to go back and really
How
play
dare
it.
you say Dead Island 2 was game of the year, Dan? How dare you, sir? Good thing
that was the most fun game out of the whole year.
Good thing we add that shit up, man. Good thing. Okay, this is your personal. But we have one game. We have one game. And it finally got his due respect, man. Spider-Man 2, nobody was trying to give it love, man. It didn't get love at the Game Awards, nothing. So we gave it his love, even though you were trying to sabotage. You and Dale were trying to sabotage it, but that's fine. I like it.
No, see, the problem with Spider-Man 2 is, even though it was an excellent game pretty much all the way around, it's Spider-Man, man. We already got 2 of them, kind of back-to-back. It's like we've done this before. No, we've done this dance. The best part about it is the story. Give me more.
Yeah, I'm a story. I'm a story kind of person, right? So they're gonna get me that way, right?
Hey,
but
for everybody who doesn't know, Carlos is always saying, "I don't give a fuck about the lore."
See, so there you go. So the fact that I cared about the lore and the gameplay and the graphics, it was just good, man. It was just good. But anyway, Spider-Man 2, yeah, game of the year. But you liked it. You and Dale tried to sabotage it. You went for number 1, Dead Island 2, and then Dale said Hi-Fi Rush. But that's why we do it. That's why we do it that way. We do it. What's your top 5?
Right.
Anyway,
so I'm gonna put you on the spot real quick, Carlos. Yeah. Who's Cletus Cassidy?
I don't know, man. Don't be.
All right.
Come on, man. That wasn't the main guy.
Yes, it was.
Was he Manhunter or whatever his name is?
No.
That's not his name? Was he Dot Man?
Craven the Hunter, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Was he... Don't be judging me, man. Don't be questioning me about the law. Look, it was fun. Okay. All right? It's the Peter Parkers and the other guy that needed a treatment but turned evil.
The other guy? You mean Miles Morales?
No, it was Miles Morales, Peter Parker.
The treatment. You're talking about
Henry? No.
Harry Osborn.
Harry Osborn. There you go. And then the demon guy came out. So Mario versus
Venom?
Yeah, Venom.
So much right now.
And then Anti-Venom came out at some point. Oh, we're getting into spoiler territory. Let's not do that. But look, anyways, Mario vs. Donkey Kong. It's an excellent game. I'm sending Tekken 8 back, Dalan. I'm gonna get Tekken 8 when it's cheaper. I had fun. The little puzzles. I don't know how many co-op levels. I hope maybe you can do all of them co-op, but I think it has its own section of co-op games. And me and my child had fun playing that, so I'm ready for this thing to come out. We'll play it together. And like I said, I think it has a bunch of.
If we beat Suicide Squad quickly enough, I will send it back and get Mario.
You're not getting it, man. Not at this point. Not the way.
Well, I'm not getting Grand Blue Fantasy anytime soon. So.
All right. Yeah, it doesn't have online co-op though. I think it might only be local, which is funny. I don't know. Maybe it has online. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, Mario vs. Donkey Kong. It's a puzzle game. It goes back to like the 90s with the Game Boy games. You grab keys. It's really like a simple, like you're grabbing keys and you're like, oh, how do I figure out that puzzle? So it's gonna be a fun one, I think. The demo's great. Go ahead and play it. The game's out in a couple days. And that's it for me, Dan, as far as what you've been playing. What else? We'll end it with you, man. What's the last game that you got on here?
Aside from the ones that we have been playing, the other one I started playing because I've been needed to. And I beat Prince of Persia. I don't know if I actually ever put that on wax. But Ori and the Blind Forest.
I also platinumed that first before Dalan, so just to put that out there.
Ori and the Blind Forest or Prince of Persia?
Prince of Persia, Lost Crown.
All right, since it came up, and I know we haven't got it on wax yet, Prince of Persia is a beautiful game.
We put it on wax. I did a review. We cut out 2 pieces of entertainment out of it. We talked about
but what I didn't talk about is the fact that I beat it and my hangups with it. As beautiful as that game was, it definitely had some bug problems. Like I ran through the beginning of the game again, and they replayed the entire opening sequence just because I was running through a specific hallway and it triggered a cutscene. I was super upset about that. I was like, is it going to change? Nah, it was the same exact cutscene. Then there was that whole debacle with one of the missions being broken, which is the only reason why I didn't platinum it sooner. That stupid... hey, there's a bird quest in that game. Save before you accept that bird quest and keep loaded until you actually have words pop up on the quest.
So the key for some of this stuff, at some point you're gonna do side quests. See, this is why you leave side quests to the end, by the way. That's why you leave them at the end, because there's some glitches going on. And so what I did, I was following a little bit of a guide for the trophy to get the platinum, right? And in the guide they're like, this is glitched. Upload your save to the cloud. And because if it glitches, you can bring it back down. Because what did you have to do? Because you didn't have a backup save, Dalan. What did you have to do?
Because I didn't have the backup save, I literally had to replay the game again. And I had to do every single side quest again.
It's not the longest game, but that's still 10 hours.
That's a lot of stuff.
That's like 10 hours or something. So don't do what Dalan did. Learn from Dalan. All right.
Don't do what I did.
Have a backup upload cloud save. And you know what? And the game actually lets you have 3 saves. So
yeah, but that
you can duplicate them. Now you could do if you don't have the cloud. I don't know if it's behind Plus Supreme or whatever. If that's fine, just make a second and third copy file or whatever and unglitch yourself.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. Yeah. Anyways, just be aware that game has some bugs. Right. But the game, outside of that, excellent game. You'd enjoy it. Metroidvania. Nice. Now, as for Ori and the Blind Forest, you got to have some good jumps with that game. The art style for that game is beautiful. There's not really like actual talking. They do like Zelda, like words that pop across the screen, and you hear the tree talking in the background, trying to tell you the story. And it's a very simple story of your light was taken, save the tree, get the water orb, whatever it is. But there's like little prickly things all over all the stages, and you can break some of them you can't break. You got to have perfect jumps over those things. You got to hit those. What was it, Super Meat Boy? You're basically playing Super Meat Boy with Ori and the Blind Forest. Don't touch any of the spikes. You got to have like perfect jumps. They're coming at you. You got to know what can and cannot be hurt, because there was like a ball thing that came at me at some point. I jumped over it. I was shooting at it. It came right back, crushed me, killed me immediately. I'm like, okay.
There you go. I think maybe that's what happened, man. At some point I got far enough into that game. I was like, not doing this. Not doing it. I'm just not.
No, the game is beautiful, and the little puzzles that they have for it is fun. At some point, I was running away from a whole flooding tree. That was actually a very excellent part for me. They give you new powers with Ori all the time. If you played Oh man, I suddenly forgot the name of that game. It's a dark game where you have a little guy with a white mask and pointy ears. What was the name of that game? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Damn, I forgot. Silk Song or something.
Silk Song is the DLC. I can't remember the actual name.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But it's like that, but it's it's basically like that, but not as detailed in a map. I guess it's just beautiful. It's as beautiful as that. So if you enjoyed Silk Song or whatever the name of the actual game is, you would enjoy Ori and the Blind.
And Ori is the first one, right? There's a sequel. Are you gonna beat this one to play the sequel or no?
That's what I was trying to build to, and the game's not that hard.
Yeah,
but it can be very hard. It's hard enough.
It's hard enough. Yeah, man. Life is short, man. I don't have enough time sometimes for this crap. I'm like, you know what? Nah, man.
I can't be going backwards like that.
You know, that's really, especially like roguelikes, right? That's the thing with the roguelikes or whatever, right? That I'm kind of like, I just can't. I mean, I'm going to play it till it's fun. Then it's no longer fun at some point, and I'm good. But I think you're going to look it up real quick, Dylan, before we kind of sign off here.
Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight? Is that what it is?
Yes, Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight. There you go. So that's a good one out there, too, as well. Again, I'm Carlos Macias, the master of what, Dalan?
The master of showing your work.
Showing your work. We're doing
you got to math correctly.
I did it right, man. You got to hold the 0 to bring the 0 back after. Hey, man, all right? You got to hold it and then bring it back. Dalan Kirkwood from up in the mountains. Thank you for joining us.
I got to check into the savings and limit bank
accounts. We'll try to get the Armands, Deo and Luis next time. We kind of gave him, like I said, we gave him a kind of late notice. That's my bad. I'll take 50% of the blame, Dalan. So Dalan can take 50% of the blame on.
Why can't you take 100% of that? But don't you dare put that on.
No, it's not air juggle the game, man. You gotta share the load.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'll take like 25%. All right, because I could have reached out.
That's one Tekken air combo juggle worth of health right there.
25%. That's a whole quarter of your life. You
still got 25% of your life left there. But hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. It's What You've Been Playing number 12. We'll be back next time. Make sure you subscribe and click on the bell, because that will let you know when this irregular show is live. All right. I think, what was the last time? It was a little while. 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
It was like 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks.
Okay,
it's not bad.
All right,
we're trying to put our videos up there. We're trying.
Yeah. All right, and we might do a little game streaming, right? Maybe we'll kind of figure that out, Dan. So kind of play. We play Rocket League. We get a little wacky out there. Good job on
Here's a weird plug. If you haven't watched Rurouni Kenshin, watch it. They remade the series.
It's my favorite.
Rurouni Kenshin. Hey man,
right,
they're relaunching the series. They got the first season up already. All right.
See you guys next time. Latest. Oh yeah, click subscribe, get notified.
You already did that. You're good.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, sometimes you gotta remind them a couple times. All right, latest.